Salutations, utopians. Hope all is well in your world, global here. So, as we wind down towards New Year's, all the bowls are starting to happen. And Michigan, obviously, there's been some big time coaching carousel news. Lane Kiffin departing from Ole Miss, where he had a record setting offense this season. For greener pastures, he believes, same conference, LSU. Uh, and then today we get the big news: Sherrone Moore, relieved of his duties, not due to performance, but scandal, even though it was fresh off a loss to Ohio State. Um, First impression, one can't help but wonder if he did beat Ohio State, would that how this situation, scandal, whatever it may be handled. Uh, I you know, um, hearing about the relations that he may have had allegedly while coaching. Unfortunately, when I created Global Utopia Sports, it was supposed to be a spinoff of my mental health company, Global Utopia, and I used I did the spinoff because I felt like there was more content, more room for teachable moments, talking sports. Still have Global Utopia if you're just not a big sports fan but care about mental health for those who might intercept this video. Um, but not necessarily football fans if it does trend. And so uh, I think, you know, here's a guy who um, it's been a huge roller coaster. Regardless of what you want to say about Jim Harbaugh, we're talking about a coach in any sport, not just football, regardless of championships, is considered an elite mind when it comes to pro football. And to inherit the throne from such a great man on such surprise notice, because the way Michigan came to an abrupt halt as they won that national championship, the way it ended was one of the most bizarre endings in the history of sports. He was not able to really be with the team, Jim Harbaugh, that is, uh, the way he would have liked. And then Sherrone Moore takes over, and this season, 2 years ago, I'm sorry. And here's a guy who worked his way up the ranks, came from over from Central Michigan, was an O line, was a tight end coach, then O line coach. Then you see him earn enough trust, but to become the head coach when Harbaugh left, and navigate this program during the huge scandals. And he's had a couple of his own, which totaled in 4 games of suspension time for two different incidences. And you know, this is a guy who, you know, had to pick up his coaching staff on the go because Harbaugh took the main uh, key nucleus from that coaching staff with him over to the Chargers. Shout out to him. Big time win against the defending champions on Monday night against the Philadelphia Eagles. Big time win. And, he's building something great with Justin Herbert. Um, but you know, the staff he had to inherit, he had to scramble to put together. Uh, just the overall program was kind of in shambles, obviously, with the scandal over their head, which is difficult to persuade in scouting. I mean, in recruiting to parents when you hear that a school has, legality issues uh, weighing on them, and so uh, all I want to say as a fan of someone who's been watching since the Lloyd Carr era, Anthony Thomas, David Terrell, John Navarro, all those guys, that's my initiation into college sports. Uh, some people, I'm reading the Rhetoric Rick already talking about how he fumbled an unbelievable opportunity. Let's be very clear. I don't believe it was ever really an opportunity. Um, from the standpoint, you know, I feel like opportunities are when you're put in a position to really succeed. And what he did was kind of felt more like a stopgap. Um, it's similar to like a Gerard Mayo with the Patriots. It's similar to like a Nico Harris. with the Mavericks, and you see Mark Cuban, nobody knew. You don't move players of that magnitude without people knowing and real influential needle movers knowing and not wanting to be a part of the heat and then reappearing when the dust settles, right? And not insinuating there's anything wrong with that. There's a clear understanding because of when you inherit the shoes of great people or when you have a great moment, and great not necessarily being tied to a positive thing, but when you have a uh, monumental moment in history, like a Luka trade, like a Bill Belichick stepping down, it's very difficult to find anyone who wants to assume those leadership positions and be put in history. Hell, even Darvin Ham with the Lakers, managing that whole entire, LeBron record columns that that season where he was just knocking down assist records, 3 pointers made, wins, most, 40-point games, all time leading scorer. Uh, who wants to coach around all that? And so, uh, I guess you can call it an opportunity if somewhere down the line you can get another real chance. But what Sherrone Moore did, defeating a 10th ranked Alabama, consecutively defeating Ohio State, um, it should be commended. And I hope that these narratives of fumbling, quote unquote, an opportunity doesn't take off because this guy did what nobody wanted. Now people are speculating, oh, John Gruden. I think Matt Patricia would be hilarious. He had a lights out season as the defensive coordinator for Ohio State. Uh, that game against Texas was amazing. Speaking of Texas, he schemed up an amazing game against Archie Manning like he wanted revenge for that Eli Manning game against the Patriots. I mean, when he was with the Patriots against the Giants, I mean, he took it out on Eli's little brother. That scheming was something else. Those guys were moving like they've been with playing for him for a decade, right? Uh, but him being a former Lions coach, right now I think he's being nominated for coordinator of the year. He was flat out lights out. Like this is where he was supposed to be all his life. And if you look, speaking of guys who've moved up the ranks, Matt Patricia has coached multiple positions in the NFL before he got to being a head coach with Detroit. I'll still never forgive him for pushing out Darius Slay. Um, we haven't been right yet since at that cornerback position. We haven't gotten a stud Pro Bowler like that since. We're still trying to find our way. Great safeties, but cornerback is another discussion. Um, but you know, they're gonna play Texas in a bowl this on the 31st. Michigan, still positioned into playing a bowl, back to what they normally are. You know what I mean? Good season, nice bowl game, rinse repeat. But breaking that dry spell with Harbaugh took everything out of that program, and I just hope that Sherrone Moore is remembered for being uh, a guy who did as excellent of a job as you possibly could expect. It's not like they were going to go out and win another championship with Harbaugh gone. I don't even know if you'd be allowed to do something like that. But knowing the college football landscape, I remember the other day, Tom Izzo has one national championship, one or two. I mean, I thought this guy had at least five or six. It goes to show you how competitive, and I know that's basketball, but just how competitive the college sports landscape is and how much is evolving, especially with this NIL industry now taking over, and it's unregulated at least for the moment, deregulated at the moment. I don't know if there's going to start being some structure put together. Looks like it needs to be. But especially speaking of NIL, I've seen Dave Portnoy talking about not re-upping Norwood's contract, NIL money. Spent a good penny on him. Uh, yeah, it's just it's an unfortunate situation, but ultimately at the end of the day, I want to say, congrats to him, and never mind that situation and the scandal, notwithstanding the scandal that's being reported. At the end of the day, it was a success. You know what I mean? It was a job well done. And now Michigan will probably hire who they really want. I know they gave him a 5-year deal. He made 6.1 this year with a 2.1% increase multiplier on it per year. But let's be real, like nobody was running down the hill to take that job either. And nobody wants to be compared with a legend like Jim Harbaugh. So, uh, you know, these are situations where someone has to do the dirty work. He did it. It ends unceremoniously, but notwithstanding all that, still did a great job. Hope this video was informative, Utopians. I'll try to do better next time. Global. Out.